I'm 31 years old, and I built the kind of freedom most people spend their whole lives chasing. And it came from a lot of painful mistakes in my 20s. Made millions, lost millions, bought the toys, built the businesses, and I also wasted a lot of time on things that honestly didn't matter. If I could go back, here's exactly what I'd tell myself. And if you're in your 20s or 30s, this is what I'd tell you too. In your 20s, hard is the point. When I started scaling with systems, I was working 100-hour work weeks. It was brutal. There were many nights where I literally didn't leave the office. But here's the thing, that season built everything I have now. Truthfully, I don't work nearly as hard as I used to, and I don't want to. I spend time with my fiance, I have hobbies outside of work, playing with my boat, riding on my motorcycle, even getting my pilot's license. That's natural. It's going to happen to everyone eventually. But your 20s are the time to use your energy wisely. That's the window where you can pour everything into learning, experimenting, and building systems that compound. Now, I'm not saying never take a day off, but your 20s should lean way more towards investment than comfort. Honestly, a lot of the people that I grew up with did the opposite. They chose what was easy, like partying, backpacking around the world, working jobs that didn't really challenge them. And now, many of them tell me that they're frustrated and stuck. They've got the same responsibilities and obligations that we all do as we get older, but none of the leverage to buy themselves out of it. There's a quote I live by: easy choices, hard life; hard choices, easy life. Your 20s aren't the time to avoid pain, but the time to invest into the kind of pain that pays off later. Most people in their 20s quit too soon. They'll try something, it feels hard, and they assume it will always feel hard. So they jump to the next thing, then the next thing. It's like playing a video game. You get to level 5 and you die. And instead of trying again, you just start a brand new game. Then you grind back to level 5, quit, and repeat. That's why so many people stay stuck at the beginner levels for years. The truth is, if you stick with it, it does get easier. And it's not because business magically gets easier, but it's because you build leverage, systems, brand equity, and relationships that compound over time. And that's exactly what happened to me. I started my company by placing virtual assistants with other people. Then we evolved into done-for-you ads management. And today, we build done-for-you YouTube channels. The core game never changed, helping entrepreneurs scale. The offer shifted, but the brand, the equity, the relationships, they kept compounding over time. I've got employees who have been with me for years. I've got an audience and reputation that attracts clients and talent on autopilot. And at this point, even if I made some huge mistake in my business, the momentum would be hard to stop. And here's the kicker. Every time I tried something outside of scaling with systems, it was always more work, less profit, and it distracted me from the thing that was already working. So the lesson is simple: evolve, adapt, adjust the offer if you need to, but just stay in the game long enough to actually level up. When people used to say, build a personal brand, I honestly had no idea what that meant. My analytical brain was like, what is a personal brand? How do I define it? How do you measure it? Eventually, I realized that we all already have a personal brand. You too. It's just a story people tell about you when you're not in the room. The only question is, are you creating that narrative, or are you letting it happen by default? For me, it started simple. I just documented what I was doing. Building businesses, making mistakes, learning along the way. I wasn't worried about the perfect niche, the perfect script, or whether it all made sense. I just started. And along the way, I figured it out. Now, years later, I understand the nuances like positioning, authority, associations. But none of that matters if you don't just start. And here's why it's worth it. Your brand is an appreciating asset. It compounds over time. Because I started creating content years ago, whenever we launch something new, like our done-for-you YouTube offer, we're not starting from zero. We're tapping into an audience, reputation, and trust that's been building for years. Helping other businesses scale is still the core game, but with a brand, every move compounds. Clients, talent, even equity opportunities come to me not because we're chasing, but because the brand is already out there working. In your 20s, you've got to work hard. We already talked about that. But here's the mistake a lot of people make. They never shift gears. Some people almost take pride in how busy they are. They wear their 100-hour work weeks like a badge of honor on their sleeve. But here's the truth. Hustle will get you started, but leverage is what sets you free. When I built Scaling with Systems, I eventually realized that every extra hour I worked could only take me so far. I could send thousands of cold emails a day and maybe land 1 to 2 clients, Or I could make one YouTube video that brought me in clients for years. I could keep juggling tasks myself, exhausted and stretched thin, complaining that nobody can do it as well as I can. Or I can make one great hire who can take an entire department off my plate. I could spend hours repeating the same process over and over and over again. Or I could build one system that ran on autopilot day and night. So that's what I did. I stopped adding hours and I started removing them with leverage. Look, hard work opens the door. Leverage is the thing that keeps it open. If you don't make the shift, you'll just keep on running faster and faster on the same treadmill. Now, you can't out hustle poor health. And for a while, I thought I could. Late nights, bad food, stress through the roof. And I always just told myself, I'll fix it later. But here's the truth. Later never comes. Your body will send you the bill, and it's always more expensive than you expect. The Dalai Lama once said, man sacrifices his health to make money, then sacrifices his money to recuperate his health. And most entrepreneurs live that exact cycle. A few years ago, I decided to break it. I stopped treating my health like something I'd get to after work, and I made it non-negotiable. I started building my business schedule around my health. I invested into coaches and protocols, so peak performance wasn't optional, but automatically built in. And the difference was night and day. I had more energy, my focus sharpened, my leadership improved. And the wild part, my business grew at the same time. Because when you're healthy, you make better decisions. You show up stronger for your team. You think more clearly under pressure. It's not just work-life balance. It's that a healthy founder builds a healthy business. Now, one of the hardest lessons I had to learn was separating who I am from what my business does. Because here's the truth. Businesses go up and businesses go down. But if your self-worth is tied to every peak and valley, you are signing up for an emotional whiplash. I'll be real with you. When our revenue dipped one year, I felt like I was a failure. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't think straight. And then my fiance asked me one simple question. Why are you letting your business decide who you are as a person? That honestly hit me like a brick. So I started a new practice. Every day, I wrote down 3 wins that had nothing to do with money or business. But here's the trick. I actually went out of my way to create those wins every day, so I'd have something to write down the next morning. It became kind of like a game. Things like being a good friend, learning something new, helping someone out. At first, it felt silly, but within a few months, something shifted. When challenges came up, I didn't spiral. I could think clearly, make decisions based on data, not emotion. So here's a lesson. You are not your P&L statement. Your business is what you do, not who you are. For most of my 20s, I thought I needed $100 million before I could live my dream life. That's what I saw the people I looked up to chasing, so I assumed that was the dream too. I just modeled them without ever questioning it. But then I did one exercise that changed everything for me. I actually wrote out what my dream life looked like in detail. And the crazy part was that I realized that I didn't need $100 million. I could create almost all of it right away. So I moved into my dream house on the water. I bought my dream boat. I proposed to my dream woman. I got my pilot's license and bought a plane. Not because I hit some arbitrary number, but because I finally defined what I actually wanted. Most people never stop to do this. Picking a number is easy. Saying, oh, I need to make $100 million doesn't take much thought. But actually defining what you want, that's harder. And that's why clarity is what accelerates you. When you know exactly what you're going after, you stop wasting time chasing what doesn't bring you there. And you realize you might be a lot closer to your dream life than you think. Business isn't a sprint. It isn't even a marathon. It's a game you want to keep playing for as long as possible. The founders who flame out are chasing a finish line. One exit, one big month, one magical number. And when they hit it, they're lost. The winners are the ones who treat it like an infinite game. They're not trying to win once. They're trying to stay in the arena. That means structuring your business so that you enjoy the day-to-day. It means building in ways that energize you instead of draining you. Because if you actually like the game, you'll keep playing. And if you keep playing, you can't lose. Look, your 20s and 30s go fast. You can waste time chasing easy paths, jumping from one thing to the next and burning out, or you can use them to build leverage, create clarity, and play the long game. And if you want to see how I'm using YouTube as leverage in my own business, check out my other video here.